Hello boys and girls, welcome to another session of Dwarf Fortress Abbeydent. We are in our third summer, 25 people. We have traded with our mountain homes twice already. We have an ongoing industry, ongoing military. I was very hesitant to build lead bins. You know, we have a surplus of lead due to the amount of galena we found in the upper stone layers. Because I've read that lead is exceptionally unsuitable for bins because it's quite heavy and it slows the haulers down. Yes, it does. It does really slow them down, but it's not as slow as when they are hauling gold statues or whatever. I mean, a lead bin is much slower than a wooden bin, of course, but it's still haulable. I mean, it slows down the hauling by about, I don't know, I guess something like 50%, down to 50%. But in a situation like we are, in a desert with no trees, where trees are rarer than gold, we have no choice. We must have bins, and we need. I mean, I burn so much wood so that I'll spend almost all my wood on bins before thinking of doing lead bins, and now I sort of regret it. Because what do the bins do actually? They sit here in permanent stockpiles and are rarely ever moved. The only bins that are ever moved are bins of stone blocks, which you carry from a stone crafting site to a building site. Or if you happen to redesign your fortress and move a big stockpile to some other place, well then yes, then bins are carried over. But other than that, lead bins are a perfect choice. So now that we have burned all the wood, I mean, crafted so many wooden bins before, we have almost no wood left for steel industry or charcoal making, but that will be over in a season or two when the caravan comes, and hopefully will bring some huge amount of wood. What has been done so far? We have started the temple tower, but as someone suggested, we have also designated a temporary temple, not dedicated to any particular deity, where everyone can pray if they wish, just to satisfy their needs. I still haven't expanded the dormitories. But I guess we can do that now. That's about it. Yes, we are planning access to the temples from down below. That's what this is about. We have also dug a massive space here where I need a quick place to store all the possible clothes types, because our clothes are getting tattered, as we have seen here. This guy is well clad, but I've seen some dwarves having slightly tattered clothes by now, and it's about time our clothes maker starts making some fine clothes. So, and we will need to store them, and I need an overview of how many of each clothes type we have, how many socks we have, how many shirts, how many trousers, and so on. So I would do a similar stockpile like we did for weapons and armor down here. So that's what's coming. We've also started a glass industry, hoping that Data and Chief Medical Dwarf will get mood eventually. And look, he's got tattered clothes. We'll get moody eventually and create an awesome artifact for which he'll become legendary. We have also extended our stockpiles below the magma forges, whereas this is for ores. This stockpile will store iron bars, pig iron bars, and charcoal. And do they need flux as well? I'm not sure how many times you need flux. Whether only when creating, I'm just looking up the wiki, whether you need flux when you create pig iron. Oh, you need flux in both steps. You need flux when creating pig iron, and you need flux when smelting steel. So yeah, so they will need iron bars, pig iron bars, charcoal, and flux. So that will be stored here. Possibly I should even extend it even more. Yeah, like I probably should do it right now. So, and that's about all what happened last session. I have also made some plans as to what do next. I mean, like the big plan for this fortress, and it probably is going to be some sort of a magma trap. Maybe not as epic as was in Lanced Brains, but it should be something working. This is our tetrahedrite mine. Tetrahedrite is still okay here though. Yeah, nice. Making still lead bins. Yes, we are. Okay. Must open therapist. This is the first time I play the 64-bit version, I realize. Is it 64-bit? Yes, it is 64-bit indeed. Love it. I guess we will soon have a mayor, so we would need mayor's rooms, and that's why I think we could. Let's dig vein here and dig vein here. Hello Narian. I wonder what software I'm using. Yes, as Ferko says, I'm using OBS. I'm quite happy with that. open broadcasting software. Broadcast. You prefer to use NVIDIA Shadow Play? I don't know that. Does it allow you to configure your streaming setup with face cams and additional things like green screen effects and what else is there? Custom text and image overlays, and compose the picture in multiple layers and switch between streaming layouts with one click, or what OBS doesn't do nice is that if I want a certain ratio between microphone loudness, volume of microphone recording, and volume of game sound. Certain games require different mixtures, and I need to adjust that globally in OBS only. It's not like you could save the volume proportion in the streaming setup. You have streaming setups for various games, but volume setup and recording audio is not one of them. For example, for iRacing, I would need not to stream from this microphone, but from this microphone, but I'd need to stream the audio, not the game audio on the sound card in the computer, but the game audio on the Oculus Rift. And that's an audio setup change which I cannot save with the iRacing streaming profile. If I switch to iRacing, okay, I change my layout, but I then have to manually switch my audio setup, audio device setup. So that's not nice. They could improve on that, but other than that, I'm happy with OBS. It's free, and I mean, NVIDIA obviously is also free. Probably comes with the drivers. So I mind this because I'm planning mayor's rooms. I think we will have entrance to mayor's rooms here. And perhaps we should have a dining hall somewhere. Let's explore these slate levels. Oh, this is diorite, or we can... Yeah, let's do that. Diorite. We have opal cluster, diorite cluster, opal cluster. Let's do some diorite first. I will not make it a tavern, I will just make it stockpiles of food and stuff, I guess. Guinea cock. What's the difference between a peacock and a guinea cock? We have a langur. Langur. What is the langur? I need to see. Grey langur. Oh, it's like a monkey-like creature. From okay, langur. Interesting. I mean, interesting distribution. That this one lives in India and not really Himalaya, but yeah, actually north of India. They have long tails. Nerian, what are you asking? Do you think women and men should have equal rights? Yes, I think, legally. There's nothing wrong with that. Like I don't see why a woman shouldn't have the right of education and work and I don't know. I mean all sorts of I mean, whatever in a society a man can do, a woman should do as well. Should be able to do as well. I don't see any why it should be differentiated. Hey, look, we have withered quarry bushes. Ay, 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 ay. Okay. Why did they wither? Why did they wither? Yeah, driving. I've read about women were given the right to drive cars in some of the Islamic countries. I didn't know they hadn't had the right. So, yeah, it's good, in my opinion. No, I don't know. I don't know how much of a deal it is for the Islamic culture, but why wasn't it the right all along? Anyway, let's find out why our quarry bush is withered. Probably because we do not have a quarry bush stockpile. Is that right? Focus says, I see a lot of women in construction gardening. Construction gardening? What is construction gardening? Landscape constructions. Construction of gardens. Or maybe a comma is missing. I see a lot of women in construction, gardening here. Then again, 10% more women. Where, what, where, yeah, because now they'll go drive and cheat on their husbands, of course, yeah. Okay, so that was why they weren't allowed to drive, because they could drive away and cheat on their husbands. Yeah, sure. Their only option until now was just to walk and cheat on their husband. Now they can drive and cheat. Or I don't know. No, it doesn't. Construction and gardening. Then have I don't know where to place stockpiles, and that the husbands had the opportunity and possibility to drive away and cheat on their wives. Nobody mentions. Quarry bush stockpiles. Quarry bush stockpiles. Yeah, quarry bush stockpiles need bags to process. Help Jack off a horse, or help Jack off a horse. Actually, the sentence would be correct in both times without comma. Help Jack off a horse is actually in both cases would be without comma, right? So that's not a. It's a good example of a vague sentence, but not a good example of comma use, because I think in both meanings no comma should be used. because you don't really make a break there or pause when you talk, when you pronounce it. Oh, well, you do, so sort of, yes, but it's not this comma length pause or comma length break. Well, I don't know. I don't know much about or English orthography. But the pronunciation is different of both. I see the difference in pronunciation, so it's pretty much unmistakable when you pronounce it. Yeah, then quarry bush stockpile. Actually, it's not a quarry bush stockpile. Oh, yes, it is a quarry bush stockpile. There's a difference between quarry bush and quarry bush leaf. Quarry bushes needs to be processed and yield quarry bush leaves and seeds. Yeah, find the original, Ferko. I'd be interested to see it. Narayan says, I think society shouldn't force women to work. It should be a choice for the women to work outside the home. Well, it's a choice for everyone, isn't it? I mean, you have the choice between working, well, ideally you have a choice between working and not working and living off the welfare, but in most cases, in most societies, it is much more enticing to have a work and work rather than sit at home. But I can see that when having a family, especially big families like in 19th centuries, families like I don't know, 7 children or whatever, and caring for grandparents and whatever. So these large families living together and providing for each other, that they could profit from certain members of the family not working and doing some other stuff in the household. But yeah, but I mean, there's no saying that this one should be a woman rather than a man. I don't see the difference much in that. But of course, today's Western societies are unfriendly. I think they turned away from these large families. A family is well, like mother, father, and a single child, and that's about it. I mean, that's easily, it can be easily handled probably with both parents working, and I don't know. So Fergus says, punctuation, the difference between help your Uncle Jack off his horse. Yes, that's better. That's better. Now these commas must be here because the Jack is just an, what is it called? Apposition? Is it a term? I mean, in German it's called Apposition, or in linguistic term, but position. Apposition. Yeah, apposition grammar. Relationship between two or more words or phrases in which the two units are grammatically parallel and have the same referent. Your uncle, Jack. That's an apposition. So in that case, the apposition has to be separated by commas, yes. And helping your Uncle Jack off his horse, yes, that's... but helping your uncle... Helping your Uncle Jack... But why should... I still don't see why the commas should be there, because orthographically it is well distinguished by the capital J. But then you could say, okay, what if you want to write it in all caps or whatever? Focus is either stay at home, both men and women can have paid stay at home for 3 years with their kid. Yeah. Here in Estonia at least. Yeah, in Germany it's also possible for men to take a leave, a prolonged leave for childcare, just as women do. It's just a matter of who is the big earner in the family. Usually, the partner with the lower wage takes the leave, because the family is then better off financially. But it's not like they can take 3 years. It's like 3 months rather, or 2 months in Germany. So it's somewhat short, I think. Nerian says, I don't think kids should go to daycare or kindergarten. You don't really think so? I think it's a very good idea to have a daycare or kindergarten where the kids are under professional care and are with their, with equally old kids. I mean, it's helping growing a socially connected personality in the kid. If the kid grows up with their parents, most unfortunately as a single kid, where it has little incentive to socially connect with other kids from the neighborhood and interact with kids equally old and play kids games with them, it's I don't know if it gets a feel for interacting with their with other guys from their age group. It will mostly interact with babysitters or parents or 1 or 2 kids from the neighborhood. But daycare actually places the kid in a group of, say, 20 kids, so where each one is an individual, and they grow and learn that what goes on in a social group like this. It's a good thing. Also, the professional care in the kindergartens, at least in Czech Republic where I grew up, was rather good. We were taught things. We had a day rhythm. I mean, it was all well. I think the professional care was really good there, and that is important. They can make they can see early friendships and early grudges against other kids, and see what other kids do. I mean, explore new interests, new activities which they wouldn't get the idea to do if they grew up alone or with a couple of friends from the neighborhood. So I think daycare is very important concept and very, yeah, very good for modern society. So yeah, that's good. Baby making has to be promoted in Western Europe. Otherwise, we will die out somehow. I don't like this. how people are more or less incentivized not to have kids and see kids more of a burden than the goal. But yeah. But if the society just doesn't, if the society punishes you for having kids, well, it can't last forever. So we have now a quarry bush stockpile and should soon have this this guy will have soon no more stone. Nadian says kindergarten can be accepted, but not daycare. Children at that age must be with their mothers. Well, really? I don't know what age is kindergarten. Kindergarten is preschool, but I had a daycare center. I mean, in Czech Republic, when I was born, it was absolutely common. Like 99% of their mothers or 95% of their mothers and parents put their children into daycare as, I mean, very small. I mean, at age of, I don't know, like 2 years, 1 year, I don't know, very, very young babies, basically baby care centers. I don't know whether I was there. I don't really remember, but I think I was, and my brother also was. And then there is kindergarten, but at kindergarten I don't know how old children were there. I think I was there like 2 or 3 years, something like 3 to 6, 4 to 6 years of age. And the last year was a preschool year where we actually had some tuition, where we tuition is probably the wrong word. We were taught things. We were taught how to count, how to think logically, some basic maths and stuff. The real, I mean, we were taught some music, and it was good. It was really nice. Where is the human caravan? Yeah, I didn't do much encrusting, so I don't think we will have much to sell. Narayan says the parents are giving away their work of taking care of the children to strangers. Well, Narayan, not to strangers, to professionals. Those are people who have studied how to take care of children best. And I think in many cases they can do it much better than their own parents. I mean, they can teach the children some discipline, some orderly day rhythm, some do's and don'ts. They can teach them, I don't know, how to acceptably interact with their neighbors, or with their with other children or elders, what to do and what not to do in presence of elders, how to eat, and when to cry and when not to cry, and they don't spoil them. I think it's good. They can educate them, and they have nothing else to do but this. Whereas the parents, they must run the household, they must go to work, they must earn money, they must do bureaucracy, they must do all sorts of other things. And the child will be at home at times and also learn these things from their parents. But yeah, I think it's not so bad. I'm not really opposed to the ideas of daycare. Supposedly, I'm supposing that daycare is really well established in a society where really qualified people do it, and that yeah, it's available, and it's really, I don't think parents should do all the work. Yeah, they're unloading their goods now, so we must move goods. I shall see whether I can sell some of these silver crafts. Oh, we have lots and lots of copper bars. I love it now. That is really good. Copper helm, copper gauntlets. Nerian says, I prefer what Ferko said, that in Estonia parents have 3 years paid work at home with the kids. That's very generous. Does the state pay for it? Hmm, 3 years. You can have. Is it for one kid? You get one child and you get 3 years of paid leave for it. Like both parents or one parent? One parent probably, right? It's good. Of course it's good. It should be like that. But also I can see, well, it should be like that. Why not have an option? I mean, you could have I don't know how long a kid needs before it can go to daycare. But both parents working and kids in daycare. Not your full salary. Okay, yeah, I see that. Well, I remember that my parents got money from the state when I was born and when my brother was born. They got like, I think 10,000 crowns bonus, and 10,000 crowns back then was really a lot of money. The monthly wage, it's practically like 10,000 euros today. Monthly wage was about 2,500 crowns, and for a childbirth they got 10,000 crowns, like one time, one big payment as support, and cheap childcare, daycare, and kindergartens and whatever. So it was supported. And of course, even 10,000 crowns don't cover all the costs you have with raising the child, but it was a nice bonus. I think I hope I remember that correctly, that it really happened like that, but I think it was like that. I even read something in like in the newspapers that I mean that there were these statistics articles where, okay, this month or this quarter so and so many children were born, each parent got this and this much money, and so stuff like that was there. But maybe I'm remembering other things and mixing that up. I don't know. We have our first mega beast. Feathers, long and narrow beaver, its deadly dust. A towering eyeless chicken. It has a long swinging trunk like an elephant. A long, giant, towering, eyeless chicken with a long swinging trunk. Bloated body. I love this. Its rust feathers are long and narrow. Beware its deadly dust. Whoa. What a beast this is. I love the RNG here. I'm looking for a forgotten beast which I would send to Toady 1 and 3 Toes as a crayon reward, as a request for a crayon reward for my donations. I support Dwarf Fortress at Patreon with 10 euros per month, and they offered me like, what sort of reward do you want? I said, okay, I see you're busy, just I'll tell you when I want one, but I'm looking for a nice forgotten beast to become a crayon art. I wish from the devs. So Mr. Jones says, sounds like KFC. Really? Spore spreading mushroom chicken. Is it a mushroom chicken? With a trunk, chicken with a trunk and feathers, and made of dust probably, or spewing dust, bloated body. Ditopia says, I think you're about to get Dwarf or side. Oh, we are secured. This chicken cannot access the fortress. We are not connected to the underworld, as far as I know. But it could be that the next siege will be a problem. Next siege, the first siege ever happening on this fortress. Is this construction suspended by any chance? Yeah, I thought so. Now we don't have any new quarter bushes, right? We can hope for a harvest of 4 quarter bushes. Now, Beware of Dust reminded you of spores. Okay. Wow. Let's also make some hatch covers. Actually, we still have let bins being hauled to all sorts of places where they are needed. But look at this. I mean, these things need bins. They need bins a lot. What else can we do? Clear green glass windows. The miners aren't even digging as much as work they have. I think I will have to disable their hauling and stuff. I need some things to be dug. Oh, they will be leaving soon. Oh, we should totally trade. Naren says, is it true that Old English sounds similar to modern Danish? I don't believe it. They may have similar grammar features, but as of sound, don't really believe it. Well, depends on what you deem as similar. But I don't think so. Old English. So you're not talking Middle English. You talk Old English. And did you hear Dutch? Modern Dutch? Did you listen to it? There's all sorts of sounds. So many vowels not present in English. And I think also they burr. They have this. They have the phoneme R, like. I think Old English had a trilled R. I believe. I'm not sure. I just think it would fit my picture of Old English. And modern Dutch has this uvular sort of sound, I think. But I don't know. I'd have to look it up. Actually, let's look it up right now, because this sort of linguistics interests me so somewhat. Dutch language, right? So what are the phonemes here? Modern Dutch. What's the phoneme system? Come on. Phonology here. Yeah. Okay. They have a trilled post-alveolar. Okay, so they don't have a post-alveolar. So they have something like r. Common realizations are alveolar trill r, alveolar tap r, uvular trill I can't pronounce that. Voiced uvular fricative and alveolar approximant r. Okay. And then they have okay, they have okay, and what's the Old English language? Old English, do we have some phonology? There is no R. What? Oh yeah, there is. It's an alveolar trill or voiced or voiceless. Old English had I, E, A, U, Ö as a allophone, A, U, O. And Dutch, what sort of vowels? What? Are we talking about modern Dutch? Oh, come on, I need phonology. Vowels. I've heard Dutch has quite a lot of vowels. Distinct phonemic vowels. What's phonology? Vowels. Ah, of course, yes. It has or A, and then it has I, U, U. E, Ö, O, Ä, Ö, O, A. Okay, yeah, it's quite a lot. Lots of diphthongs. Yeah. So many. Okay, and how did it sound? Maybe phonotactics were sort of similar in the rhythm. But yeah, I mean, those were two Germanic languages. Of course, Germanic languages are similar in nature. You can find, of course, similarities among Germanic languages. It certainly sounds more like Old English than, I don't know, Old Estonian sounded or Old whatever, Old Spanish sounded. Of course, because after all it was Germanic language, but I think, well, what I think is that maybe Old Dutch. Oh wait, are you talking about Dutch or Danish or modern Danish? I messed it up. I was looking Dutch. Yeah, Danish. I actually think Old Danish language was probably no. Old Dutch language was probably more than Old English than it was Old Danish. But you are talking about modern Danish. Modern Danish has, yeah, there we have the Old Danish, the modern Danish vowels. Close, near, they have so many levels of vowels. Close, near close, close, mid, open, mid, near, open, open. And that's all phonemic, guys. I mean, 25 vowels, distinct vowels, phonemically distinct vowels. That's a lot. A prosody. And yeah, modern Dutch has uvular pharyngeal. Is it voiced? Yes, it's voiced. It's like German, something like Dansk språk. Dansk. Dansk? It says Dansk. Is that true? Whatever. I don't know the vowels. Yeah, but and they don't have this dental fricative th and the like the English had. No, I don't. My first impression is not. But I don't know. I mean, I'm not I can't be the judge, because who today can tell how old English sounded? I mean, few people can. Few people can, and those who can, they can't probably pronounce it. But you know, there was an interesting project I've read about in the internet. They didn't use really Old English, but they used Middle English. When the sort of English Shakespeare wrote his plays in, and they had actors, they had like theater actors, and they studied Shakespearean works like Hamlet, Macbeth, or whatnot. And they studied it with the Middle English pronunciation, or with the sort of English pronunciation which was supposedly the sort of English Shakespeare himself spoke at the time of his life. And they found amazing things. Like, they found rhymes where they thought they never existed, or they found ambiguity and puns in places absolutely unexpected. I mean, it was very nice experiments, performing Shakespearean works in Shakespearean English. There was a small YouTube video about it. Shakespeare original pronunciation. Was it this? I think. I'm not sure whether.
That was in use in a period called early modern English, and in a period specifically around about the year 1600. Now, it's a period during which pronunciation was changing very...
Yeah, I think this is the sort of video I saw on it, but could be something else now. No, not this thing. How come I didn't copy this link? This link is what I wanted. Just watch it if you have a couple of minutes. I will trade. Nothing important will happen for the next couple of minutes. What shall I select? Iron meat cleaver, I want that. And actually I can search, right? I want everything iron, but I don't think I have the money for. Well, let's see. I actually do. Yep, good. We traded some iron. I bought everything iron. Why can't I melt the nickel cake? Oh, because I sold it. Right, so now we can melt an item. So oh, deadly dust. This chicken is flying. Or is it? It looked like it. Seriously? Damp stone here? Why is this stone damp? Oh, wait, it could be that this is... It can't be. Well, it could be that the aquifer descends further down there. Could really be. It could indeed be. Ah, it has been caught. Giant sparrow caught in our trap. Another forgotten beast. Enormous nightjar with lidless eyes. It has a stubby horn and undulates rhythmically. Its black feathers are long and broad. Beware its poisonous gas. What is a nightjar? A hidden nightjar, medium nocturnal. Oh, nightjar is a bird. Really? What is it? Nightjar. I've never seen that. Interesting. Beast Google has come. An enormous nightjar with lidless eyes. It has a stubby horn and it undulates rhythmically. Poisonous gas. Now the beasts will fight each other probably. And we have 2 more kangaroos. And now we have a kangaroo doe. This kangaroo doe will have some fun with our how many kangaroo bucks do we have? It's like 4 or 5, 4 kangaroo bucks who haven't mated in 2 years. Narian says, I called the German immigration agency to check if I would be allowed to work in Germany, but it seems that Germany only accepts workers for high-skilled jobs. But unfortunately, I don't have a degree. High-skilled jobs. Oh, it's laughable. They accept so many migrants with terrorist background, proven terrorist background, criminal background, no jobs at all, nothing. And I don't know, a normal Mexican who just wants to live and work in Germany, they decline because he doesn't have a degree. That's ironic. Ironic is not the right word. Alright guys, we'll take a short break. And continue in about 15 minutes. Summer is almost over. We will play through the late summer, through the rest of the summer and autumn next session, I think. So I think I'll take about 15 minutes. I need to prepare something in the kitchen that I can make later, something to eat. I need to think of something I'll cook later today. Yeah, I'll see you later. Thanks for watching.